Fight on the card with Miles Johns and Daniel Marcos facing off. Miles Johns, he's actually the younger guy here, although you would think that he's a little older. He's been in the UFC a lot longer, but he is 31. Marcos is 32. And both are talented. Bantamweight, is just an extremely good division. And Daniel Marcos laid an egg in his last fight. I feel like he just came up against a really bad matchup. He fought Montel Jackson. And Daniel Marcos, style-wise, he's big for the weight class. He wants to use his distance striking, walk you down, get in the pocket, and throw heat. And he has nice straight punches, good teeps, good leg kicks, and just technical offense. And then in the pocket, he'll brawl with you. And he has fast hands and big power. But Montel Jackson, I just think was a little faster, a little more powerful, a little longer. And Marcos didn't want to exchange with him, so he tried to wrestle the whole fight. And he has serviceable clinch takedowns and some wrestling. His takedown defense is really good. But even though he was getting takedowns, he didn't really do anything with them. And in the first round of the fight, he let Montel Jackson get to his back and control him for like the whole round. So right away, he was fighting at a disadvantage and just wasn't a good overall night for him in that one. But we've seen other fights where Daniel Marcos has looked really good, walked guys down, put them on the fence, beat them up with the kicks, the counters, and just styled on him. He's someone that can finish you, but he fights very methodically, so he's composed. He's not going to get tired. He's not going to get overzealous and make huge mistakes. And just overall, a very skillful guy. I think that the shots up the middle and the knees especially are going to be effective in this fight against someone that's a little shorter, that always throws wide shots, that likes to dip with the level changes. So it should be effective for Marcos to pressure and then use kicks and counter with the knees. But Miles Johns, this guy's a dog, and he's someone that I think earlier in his UFC career got hit with that tag of being more of an athlete. He was someone that would go out there, he would try to put you on the cage and slow the fight down. He would get tired in a lot of fights and then kind of not quit, but lose the decisions. And more recently, though, I think that he's gotten a chip on his shoulder because he was a big prospect. He was a former LFA champion, and now he's just a gatekeeper. He's being used to push all these new guys and break them into getting top 15 competition after beating Johns. And he's been able to push a couple of prospects. His last fight, you could argue that he got robbed, but he's taken the losses, and now he kind of has his back against the wall here against Marcos, where he needs a victory here. If he loses, I believe that's 3 losses in a row, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with him after that, because he has been fighting close with some high-level guys. But Miles Johns, the guy, is very powerful. He has a nice jab, and then he comes over the top with big overhands, big hooks. He's going to have to make this fight a brawl, man. Get ugly. I think use big punches to potentially wrestle. And we've seen Marcos hit and kind of rocked, and then we've seen Marcos slow down in fights. So I think pushing the pace, taking damage if you have to, maybe losing the first round, the first 2 rounds, to get that third round comeback is what you have to do, and just make it a really high-paced, hard, grindy, gritty fight. I think it's going to be hard for Johns to wrestle because there's going to be the threat of those knees up the middle, and Marcos just has good overall wrestling defense. And as far as the striking goes, I think Johns will be competitive. He could land some big shots, and if he hurts Marcos, that's where he could have a chance to change the tide of the fight. But I think overall Marcos will land the better shots, will be able to maintain the range pretty well. And if someone does get a knockout, I kind of think it's going to be with the knee on the Marcos side. So I do predict Marcos will bounce back and get this victory here over Miles Johns and move to 18-1.